So, the spoilers are out for My Hero Academia Manga Chapter 396. And from what we're getting with the initial spoilers, this is going to be a very action-packed chapter where we're finally going to be cutting back to a fight that we have been looking forward to for a long time. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick, but that is not going to prevent me from covering the spoilers. So, let's just dive right into what's going to be in this most recent chapter of My Hero Academia. Hey guys, how's it going? It is your boy, Manga Man Drew, and I'm here to cover the spoilers for My Hero Academia Manga Chapter 396. As I said initially, if this video sounds a little bit off, it's most likely due to the fact that I'm a little bit sick, but that's not going to prevent me from covering the spoilers for this chapter. And before we get right into it, I'd like to let y'all know that some news came out about one of the My Hero Academia movies, and that the fourth one is apparently in production or in talks, but we are getting a fourth movie. Now, I may make a separate video about this when more information about that comes out, but there's a reasoning why we're getting this information now, especially with what we're going to be seeing potentially with this chapter. So let's just dive right in and see what that could be with why this movie is being announced now when this chapter is about to come out. So to start off, the title of the chapter is Chapter 396, A Quirkless Fight. And with that in mind, this is going to be a fight where we're going to finally see All For One versus All Might clashing, where the chapter starts 20 minutes before the clones disappeared, with All Might remembering Night Eye's foresight and realizing that the villain he mentioned is probably All For One. If his prophecy hasn't been avoided yet, it most certainly refers to this fight. The car then turns into an armor that covers his entire body except his mouth. After all, the people who smile are always the strongest. The armor is called Armored All Might, and it replicates his hero costume, including the antenna hair and the cape. All Might asks Hercules, his car, to start recording the fight, and it says that it's already started. All Might then starts talking to Tsukachi. Labrava sees an opportunity to get more views and wants to start a new stream immediately, but the cops are against it. Labrava says, "Start! Stream!" is a very dramatic way, and the cops say, "Stop pretending you're using your Bankai or something." Tsukachi remembers the moment All Might left the command room, saying that he would join the fight and wonders if he has chose where he'll die. After all, it's impossible for someone without a quirk to face against All For One, no matter how many support items he has. And with this first part of the text spoilers, this is getting a little bit more interesting, where we get to see that there is some things going on with the armor. We get a little bit more about what the armor name is, how it looks, and it looks very amazing. But we're also getting to see that Labrava is still in conflict with the police, and that there's going to be some distrust by Tsukachi, which, from what we're going to learn later on, is most likely going to be resolved in this chapter, and not necessarily the fight itself. But from what we're getting, this is going to be an amazing fight, and everyone around the world will be able to see how amazing All Might is going up against All For One without a quirk. And going into the next chunk of text spoilers, Tsukachi tells Labrava to stop the stream because what's about to happen is a former hero getting brutally killed to buy a few minutes or maybe just a few seconds. For a student, cut to All For One, who knows full well that wasting his time here is pointless, but seeing the smile on All Might's face makes him lose control and go for it. All Might starts running and shouts, "Hercules, red!" and what was left of the car forms a shield around him, protecting him from All For One's electric beam that destroys some buildings around them. Hercules' voice warns him that 66% of the shield has been destroyed and that it won't be able to protect him from another attack, but All Might continues to smile. The electric beam destroyed All For One's own arm, but it's already healing. He tells All Might that this way of fighting, in which he moves forward without dodging, was only possible because he had One For All. But as soon as he tries to attack again, wires come out of the armor. All Might shouts, "Black Whip." Just as it looks like All For One is about to rip the wires, All Might says, "Charge Bolt," and lightning starts coming out of them. The electricity slows down All For One's regeneration and gives All Might time to get closer to him, using the wires in a technique called cellophane. And I'm going to elaborate a little bit more here because of what the implication of this suit means. This is great. I really enjoyed this because we're seeing that the suit that All Might is wearing, even though it is built for him to be able to fight in this battle, it's in a way him not fighting on his own due to the fact that all of the equipment inside of it is representing certain students. Charge Bolt is Kaminari. Cellophane is Sero. Black Whip is obviously Deku. And how we see that this armor itself is powerful enough to withstand an attack from All For One, but it can't withstand multiple attacks, and that we're going to get a little bit understanding for what is going on in All Might's head for why he's acting in this way. And getting into the near final parts of this text spoilers, All Might starts saying that since their first fight, and also when he faced Nana, All For One always started with a big long-range attack. His goal was to weaken his enemy and steal one for all. But this way of fighting, it only works against those who have a quirk. A new Hercules part comes flying in and attaches itself to his leg, propelling All Might's foot upward. La Brava taunts Tsukachi, saying that nothing he said really happened, but he's speechless. All Might tells All For One that his armor and car were designed so that he could fight. If he can fight just for a little, that's enough for him. And who built these two items? Where the friend he made in the US after being forced to leave Japan due to Nana's death, and his daughter Melissa is watching the war on the TV. He then starts talking to Tsukachi. My friend, we have known each other for a long time, so you should know this. I've never went into a fight thinking I would lose. All Might kicks All For One in the face with a shoot-styling smash. End of chapter. And this is probably the most interesting part about this entire chapter, is sort of kind of the confirmation that the characters in the My Hero Academia movies are more or less canon. And we kind of knew that due to other one-shots that Horikoshi has made, but this pretty much canonically proves that at the very least Melissa and David are in the world of My Hero Academia and that they are responsible for making the suit. And we can talk a little bit more about the suit itself and that he's actually putting up a fight against All For One, but we need to remember that when it comes to All For One in this moment, it doesn't take a lot of damage to actually hurt him in this moment. We saw that Hawks was able to do it. We saw a lot of characters were able to do it. So if you have enough force, you can damage him, but it doesn't mean that he is straight up defeated. But from what we're getting with the text spoilers, this is going to be a flashback fight, but it's going to be significantly longer than many people may be expecting. Some people would potentially argue that this chapter may be going to 400 and that potentially All Might could win this fight. But from what we're getting, this is going to be a very fantastic chapter, and I can't wait to get a more proper translation of this chapter and get my review out whenever the chapter comes out properly. But yeah, this is all I really have to say for the spoilers for this chapter. And let me ask you this, what did you think of the chapter? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? And are you excited for the fight between All For One and All Might? Leave your thoughts down below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to see more content like this. Do all that cool jazz, and hopefully I'll be able to catch you in my next video. Goodbye!